The Sabbath. The Sabbath throughout the Bible. The Sabbath is central to our worship of Elohim, the memorial of creation. It reveals the reason Elohim is to be worshipped. He is the creator, and we are his creatures. The Sabbath throughout the Bible, the Sabbath at creation. The Sabbath comes to us from a sinless world. It is Elohim's special gift, enabling the human race to experience the reality of heaven on earth. The Sabbath throughout the Bible. Elohim rested on the Sabbath. Elohim set an example for human beings to follow. Elohim blessed the Sabbath. The blessing on the seventh day implied that it was thereby declared to be a special object of divine favor. Elohim sanctified the Sabbath. He sent it apart for the lofty purpose of enriching the divine-human relationship. The Sabbath throughout the Bible, the Sabbath at Sinai, the Sabbath and the manna. Through the miracle of the manna, he taught them how important he considered their resting on the seventh day to be. The Sabbath throughout the Bible, the Sabbath at Sinai, the Sabbath and the law. Elohim placed the Sabbath command in the center of the Decalogue. The Sabbath commandment functioned as the seal of Elohim's law. Official seals are used to validate documents of great import. The Sabbath throughout the Bible, the Sabbath at Sinai, the Sabbath and the covenant. Just as the covenant is based on Elohim's love for his people, so the Sabbath is the sign of the covenant. It is a sign of divine love. The Sabbath and throughout the Bible, the Sabbath and Messiah. Yeshua associated the Sabbath with his redemptive as well as his creative work. Throughout his earthly ministry, Messiah exemplified for us faithful Sabbath keeping. The Sabbath throughout the Bible, the Sabbath and the Apostles. As Messiah, the Apostles worship on the seventh-day Sabbath. Sabbath throughout the Bible, the meaning of the Sabbath, a perpetual memorial of creation, a symbol of redemption. When Elohim delivered Israel from bondage in Egypt, the Sabbath, which was already the memorial of creation, became a memorial of deliverance as well. The Sabbath throughout the Bible, the meaning of the Sabbath, a sign of sanctification. The Sabbath is the sign of obedience. He who from the heart obeys the fourth commandment will obey the whole law. He is sanctified through obedience. The Sabbath throughout the Bible, the meaning of the Sabbath, a time of fellowship. In the Sabbath, Elohim gave humanity a gift, offering the highest form of companionship. Companionship with Him on the Sabbath, we can especially experience Elohim's presence among us. Sabbath throughout the Bible, the meaning of the Sabbath, a sign of righteousness by faith. Sabbath keeping reveals that we have ceased depending on our own works, that we realize that only Messiah the Creator can save us. The Sabbath throughout the Bible, the meaning of the Sabbath, a symbol of resting in Messiah. The Sabbath is a sign of the deliverance from sin to Elohim's rest, setting the redeemed apart from the world. Attempts to change the day of worship. Cardinal James Gibbons once wrote, "You may read the Bible from Genesis to Revelation, and you will not find a single line authorizing the sanctification of Sunday. The scriptures enforce the religious observance of Saturday." The rise of Sunday's observance. The change from Sabbath to Sunday worship came gradually. By the middle of the second century. Some Christians were voluntarily observing Sunday as a day of worship, not a day of rest. The rise of Sunday observance. The 5th century historian Socrates wrote, "Almost all the churches throughout the world celebrate the sacred mysteries on the Sabbath of every week. Yet the Christians of Alexandria and at Rome, on account of some ancient tradition, have ceased to do this." The rise of Sunday observance. The Emperor Constantine decreed the first civil Sunday law on March 7, AD 321. Several decades later, the Church followed his example. The Council of Laodicea issued the first ecclesiastical Sunday law. The rise of Sunday observance, the change prophecy. The Bible reveals that the observance of Sunday as a Christian institution had its origin in the mystery of lawlessness, which was already at work in Paul's day. The rise of Sunday observance, the restoration of the Sabbath. Just as the downtrodden Sabbath was to be restored in Israel, so in modern times the divine institution of the Sabbath is to be restored and the breach in the wall of Elohim's law repaired. The observance of the Sabbath, we are not to honor Elohim, not doing your own ways, not finding your own pleasure, nor speaking your own words. The observance of the Sabbath, the Lord calls upon His people to make the Sabbath a day of delight. Messiah regularly worshipped on the Sabbath, took part in the services, and gave religious instruction. The observance of the Sabbath. Elohim intended the Sabbath for humanity's spiritual enrichment. Activities that enhance communication with Elohim are proper. Those which distract from that purpose and turn the Sabbath into a holiday are improper.